Oh, huh. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hotdog Hour. Look, if you know me, you know I'm tired. All right? I was tired yesterday, I'm tired today, and I'll probably be tired tomorrow. Sometimes it's my fault, okay? Sometimes, you know? You eat a chicken parm at 1 a.m, you know, what are you gonna do, right? But sometimes it's not my fault. You know, sometimes the brain and the body aren't in sync, and it can spell disaster. Sleep is a universal trait, right? Everything sleeps. And if it's so important and it's so integral, then why does it elude so many of us? It can be optimized, hijacked, hacked, programmed, and various other computer-related words. But at the end of the day, it's really important to find a wind-down routine or a series of steps that make sense for you and help you feel good. And that's what I want to explore today. What is sleep? Why do we all do it, but there's still so much of it we don't know? Can we make strides to feel better and feel good and feel energized and give our body what it needs? Yes, we can. So go ahead, lie down, get comfortable. Maybe make hot dog hour part of your wind down routine. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited for our guest today. Our guest today is a thought leader in sleep coaching with over 15 years of experience working with healthcare providers and athletes and businesses and patients. She's the founder of sleepbetterNYC, a result of her obsession to improving our understanding of sleep and sleep hygiene, sleep aids, sleep myths. Her expertise has turned her into a global speaking phenomenon, okay? Traveling the world, based out of Brooklyn, saving lives. She's very talented. She's been everywhere, and we're very lucky to have her here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Teresa Power!
Yay! Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. What's going on?
I'm glad this is recorded. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, hey, please do. Hey, come on. I mean, you'll need to write me a royalty check, obviously.
Yeah, I have at least $4.
Come on, we're not doing this. Bring that a little closer to yourself, just real quick. Cool,
yeah.
Thank you. Teresa, what's going on? Thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited to meet you. I just met you not too long ago, and fucking here we are. So let's, I guess to get started, I'd love to give us a little background on yourself. You're fine. It'll be fine.
It's fine. I'm just like ruining all your equipment.
Yeah,
but what were you saying?
I just would love, you have a very like multifaceted background. So I would love to give us a little background on yourself and kind of how you got into health and wellness and why you were so interested in sleep. And then I'd love to kind of jump into your company and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I graduated and basically got right into healthcare sales and consulting. I was in the operating room a lot. I did some orthopedics, dental, medical. As soon as I got into sleep medicine, which I didn't even know was a specialty, and
yeah.
I think a lot of people still don't even know it's a medical specialty. But basically, as soon as I got into it, I became obsessed.
Yeah.
It's almost ironic to think like, quite literally, everybody sleeps, as you said, but we just don't really think about it. We like really take it for granted. As soon as I told anybody what I did for a living, nobody was ever like, oh, that's cool. They always had a question.
Right.
My brother this, or my aunt that, or my sister's cousin aunt. Like, everybody has a story about sleep. So I just, like, that really fueled it.
Yeah.
I gained my own clinical credential in 2021.
Cool.
I'm board certified in clinical sleep health.
Nice.
And then I started sleepbetterNYC. I really started...
Which I loved. I loved that it... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what drew me to it was I am a very... If you're an avid Hotdog Hour watcher and an avid fan, you would know that we did an episode about no frills. So I did a whole episode about how, frills are okay. You should treat people nice, and it's okay to, like, try to make something luxurious or something, but, so much stuff is frilly now that what stuck out to me was on your website. It's specifically, like, right there up front. It says, "Hey, this is a real holistic approach that is no frills and no BS." And just, I'm kind of paraphrasing a little, but I liked that a lot, and that really spoke to me. So I was curious, like, did you see a lot of a BS, I guess, like in the field?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I mean, more so now. So we'll go back to that, but like. When I first started looking, if anybody looks online for sleep tips, it's a lot of generic advice, and a lot of it is outdated.
Yeah.
Some of it isn't even wrong. It's just, like, it doesn't fit everybody's lifestyle. I can't just be like, you need to get 8 hours of sleep and, like, tell that to, like, a new parent or someone who's, like, traveling overseas or something.
Yeah.
So a lot of it just wasn't relatable. It was outdated. Some of it is just blatantly incorrect.
Right.
So I started with some social media and some one-on-one coaching. But, yeah, I do have a clinical background. So I really wanted to, like, bridge that gap and, again, kind of remind people that you can actually talk to a professional about this. It's not just like, all right, my sleep sucks and I just have to live this way. Right.
It doesn't have to, it's not, well, and it's funny because as I've gotten older too, especially, I've realized, there are solutions for stuff. Like, we still don't know a lot about sleeping, but there's research all the time, and there are people who, like you, are, like, dedicated to just trying to understand, like, what this are doctors and people like you with true technical skill still as fascinated by sleeping as, like, someone like me is? Does that make sense? Do you still have, like, a sense of wonder about it, I guess? Like,
yeah, I think a little bit. I mean, of course, there is a science to sleep, and we can study it in a lab very objectively. But it's really interesting because it really does cross a lot of boundaries. I think part of the reason we feel like we don't know as much about sleep is a lot less about the science and more about, like, it is also, like, a very personal thing, and it can be spiritual, and some people believe in, like, symbolism, and so it's not to say that anything is wrong, but it, like, crosses a lot more than, say, like, I don't know, a heart condition isn't, like, a spiritual thing.
It's a little more boilerplate. More boilerplate if you have if you need a ventricle replaced. Yeah, that is interesting. I always thought that was, something that always, like, not, like, bugged me out about sleep, but I always was like, I think it's funny that everyone just kind of, like you said earlier, like, we kind of take it for granted, or we're kind of just like, yeah, you go to sleep, and it's like, you lay down and close your eyes, and then you, like, go to this world, like, and then you just, like, snap back, and you have amnesia. You don't remember when you fell asleep, like, and we're all just like, yeah.
We all hallucinate, and we make up things in our minds, and we become completely paralyzed, and then we just, like, wake up the next day, and we go about our day.
And we... I know that I've read things that say that, sleep is, I guess to take our computer terms again, sleep is kind of like your brain, like, defragging itself, or, kind of trimming the fat, from the day or whatever. But what's up with dreams? Like, what's going on? Like,
what's up with dreams?
What is going on, dude? Why am I, like, conjuring images and things, like, that you don't even think you know?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think dreams is probably where it does get the blurriest, if you will.
Yeah.
So we have most of our dreams in REM sleep, which is only a part of every single sleep cycle. So you only have it a few times throughout the night, if you're lucky.
Right.
So during REM sleep, you have most of your dreams, and this is where you are processing memories. So almost, if not all of what you dream, you actually have seen at some point, or your brain is sort of pulling together all these different memories and putting them together. So that's why shit gets, like, real weird sometimes.
Yeah.
You're also processing emotions here too, which makes them even weirder. Right. So you're processing emotions, you're smoothing over all the negative feelings that you have, you're trying to work things out. It's like our brain is sort of trying to work out, like, what if scenarios.
Right.
Like, maybe these things don't ever really happen in real life because they're dreams, but it's trying to prepare us or work things out and
just make sense of this crazy world, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. I had a dream last night where I think dreams are funny because you never question stuff in a dream, when it's happening. And I had a dream last night. And it's so funny that it was such a vivid, like sometimes I don't have super vivid dreams. Sometimes I have like super vivid dreams. I have like a lucid dream. But I had a dream last night and I was walking around the city and I was like on the phone, like running errands. Like I was like on the phone or something, but I wasn't wearing shoes. Like I was just walking around barefoot. And I remember consciously thinking like, and not consciously, I wasn't fully aware. Obviously it was a dream, but like I remember looking down and going like, man, I gotta like wear shoes. Why am I walking around? Like I need to stop doing this in the city. I gotta start wearing shoes in the city. And it's like, it's just so funny. And then in the dream, I was like, all right, well, anyway, I gotta, I'm going to do this now. And it's like, what kind of, I guess, like, understanding do we have about the emotional part of dreams where it's like, they'll say, like, if you have a dream that you're falling, it means this, or it means, like, do you do any work like that at your company? Or I guess, how does that work? Or how does that, is that an area you study, I guess, before I get into it?
Great question. Personally, and I do think it is a little personal, yes, but no. So I personally don't feel like symbolism is relatable to everybody. So if you, I don't know.
It is to me. Let's go crazy.
If you see a butterfly, maybe that means transformation, but like maybe it doesn't mean that to me, or maybe it doesn't mean that to somebody else. So I don't believe in like inherent symbolism in dreams. I don't think there's like a book that can tell you what everything means. Right. Like
the dream Bible.
Yeah. They're like every human just like instinctively knows this. But like, okay, if you forgot your shoes, maybe you don't have like a thing for shoes, but maybe you have been worrying about forgetting something, or you have anxiety. And so that is something we can talk about. Like, why are you so worried in your dreams? Like, what are you worried about in real life versus like the shoes mean X, Y, and Z.
Right. That's like when you're in like English class and like in middle school, like what does the gray curtain mean?
What does it mean? What is the symbolism? Like, I don't know. What do you think it means?
Yeah, it's so, I read something that said that if you go days, weeks, whatever, sequences in succession of not having adequate sleep, once you do get good sleep, then you'll have like a crazy dream, or you'll have a crazy, so does your brain get like backed up, I guess? Does it get like, like bottlenecked? Like does it get like a traffic jam almost? Like if you're not sleeping? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of. That's a really great question, because we see this actually in just one night, especially with alcohol.
Oh, no way.
It's called REM rebound. So alcohol, just for example, if you're drinking, it suppresses REM sleep. And then finally, after it processes, your brain is like, oh my God, wait, we need to get our REM sleep. So it goes into overdrive.
Interesting.
And you get a lot of REM sleep, like especially if you wake up the next morning and then you get that like really juicy nap, like after you wake up.
Oh yeah.
You're going into like deep REM, you're getting all this like incredible weird dreams, but it's because your body's like trying to catch up.
Right, okay.
So yes, I mean, truthfully, it's sort of like futile. You can't catch up, but
right. The goal is to do it right every night.
Right.
Like you can't. I remember I read that when they said, the like opposite weekend warriors, where there were people who would just work and do something all week and then I'll catch up on the weekend, and they're like, you're not catching up, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's not how it works. Like
yeah, not really. I mean, and truthfully, like if you just stay up, let's say you have like a wild Monday and you're out till I don't know, super late, and then you only get 3 hours of sleep. Like the next day, you're already feeling the negative effects. So like you can't undo your Tuesday on Saturday because you slept in. Like you already felt
it doesn't work. Like it's not like you're paying your credit card.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, well, I have to let's pay later. Okay, great. Yeah, that is there like when you're not sleeping well in a row, like sometimes and this was also I have this, and this was a question that a listener wrote in too. There will be times when, sometimes you'll have a bad night's sleep and then you wake up and you're like, oh man, here we go. And it's the normal, like you're a little spacey. You're like, whoa. How come sometimes you won't sleep well, but then you'll wake up and you're good? Is that fake? Is it like adrenaline? Like, or is it I guess, are you able to sometimes, can your body obviously your body makes the most of it, whatever you get, but I guess, is that an illusion like adrenaline? Is that actually like really unhealthy? Or is that, I guess, can some people just do more with less?
Well, I feel like those are actually two different questions.
Yeah,
So
sorry, I just threw a lot at you.
we'll go with the first one.
Yeah.
So a lot of times if you're waking up feeling groggy, if it's not just because you didn't get enough sleep, you're like in the middle of a sleep cycle. So maybe you're in the middle of a sleep cycle and your alarm goes off, so you didn't like complete the full cycle. So you're groggy, you don't know what day it is. It's called like sleep inertia. You feel like you're like really just not well. Maybe you get the same amount of hours, but you completed a cycle because maybe you went to bed earlier, or I don't know. It's just your normal wake up time and your body's ready for it and you feel better or okay. So maybe you just finished the sleep cycle or you're like about to it, or maybe you're like in light sleep. So when you're in deeper sleep, you're going to feel like not so great when you wake up. Or if you wake up from a dream in REM sleep, you're going to not feel so great. So
okay. So the brain is a diva, basically.
Yeah, it's so picky.
The brain's like, did you interrupt me?
Exactly.
I imagine the brain like painting its nails like, it's not 9. Like
we need at least 3 more minutes. This is weird. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So sleep inertia, that I've heard of before, where I remember I read something one time that said that those groggy feelings are actually, is it true that it's like it's a way for your brain to kind of like protect itself because it's not getting its adequate sleep? Like it's like a way to kind of, I guess, transition, like I guess make the most of it.
A little bit. I mean, it's definitely transitioning. I mean, when you're in sleep, your brain waves look differently. In deep sleep, you have what are called delta waves, or like slow wave-like brain waves. And so when you wake up out of that, you don't just like switch immediately. I mean, it is pretty quick still, but at first, your brain isn't quite like doing the same exact thing that it's doing when you're awake.
Yeah. No, and that's true. And I mean, look, we've all been there where someone wakes you up and you're so comfy and you're like, no, like, I can't. Like, you know?
No, please.
You're like, please, no. But that's interesting, sleep inertia. So I guess that's like when you're like in a car and you stop short, right? And
you still go.
Yeah. You're like, it's got to go somewhere.
Exactly.
It just rebounds in your head. That's interesting. Have you ever heard how, I know that, I've heard this before from a lot of people. I heard it famously from Bill Clinton, and like, you know, Trump has said it, like a lot of presidents, like where they say like I remember Clinton said he had a gene thing where he only had to sleep 4 hours and he'd be all right with it. Is that, I've always wondered, like, is that real? Is that kind of like a old wives' tale kind of thing? Like, is that, is there any research that does exist that proves that, I guess is my first question. Does that exist?
Yes.
Or are there people like that?
It is possible. It is absolutely possible. There is research, and I think a new study just came out, I want to say this year, maybe last year, that proves that there is a gene, and it figured out which one it was. I want to say like SK3 something, but I'm not a researcher, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
But the caveat, and quite possibly the most important thing of this whole thing, is that less than 1% of the entire population has that gene.
Right. Of 8 billion
yeah,
people. Yeah.
It's possible for sure, but it's pretty unlikely. I mean, I don't know what like testing Clinton had done. I guess it's possible. I don't know that like people generally go for that kind of genetic testing.
Yeah, and I feel like they're the kind of guys who are all I don't even need to sleep that much. I don't even need to do that. You know, like, so I'm like, it's funny that it's like the two of you. But I was always curious because, like, you know, so these people who do have the gene legitimately, are they like healthy? Like they're sleeping for only 4 hours, but are they getting a full cycle? Like, are they otherwise healthy as if a normal person who would be getting 8 hours?
Yeah. So
That's
potentially
so
they're just getting
crazy.
like, if we have a handful of cycles every night, maybe they're getting like one less cycle, so they're still healthy. Other people, you know, obviously you ask any parent, like, they're not getting 7-8 hours of sleep, but like they're fine. You can function.
Right, you can do it. Yeah.
You can. Everybody knows you can function. There's no physical way for you to optimize your health, your cognitive ability, unless you're sleeping at least 6 hours, 7 to 9 for most adults, unless you have this gene. And again, yeah, it's possible, but like, I mean, a lot of things are more possible. It's like more likely for you to get struck by lightning than you to have this
than
gene.
to get this gene.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wonder if one day, like billions of years from now, evolution, they'll become
maybe.
the humans will only sleep for like 4 hours.
They're like, they can do so many more things. Let's breed more of them.
Right. So I guess if someone had it, I guess you could become the president. I guess if someone's going to become the president, you would have it.
I mean,
whatever.
Yeah, Trump, he's really, really old, right? But like he seems to have a lot of energy.
He's got a lot of energy, dude.
So,
I mean,
like,
it's like,
I don't know, maybe. It's possible.
And old Billy's, old Willie's still, he's still lurking around at events and things like that, right?
Still bopping around. So I guess it's possible. I don't know.
What, so I want to go back to this because we got on a tangent immediately. I'm so sorry.
Where are we?
We were talking about how you initially kind of got into all health and wellness and sleep. So I know you kind of got into it and then you started your practice. I want to learn more about Sleep Better. How do you find and recruit someone that you know understands sleep like you do? And how do you find someone who has a nice balance, to your website, the holistic approach? How do you find people who can balance the science maybe with a little symbolism or with a little, you know what I mean? Like that holistic approach to understanding this kind of wellness goal.
To work with Sleep Better?
Yeah. Like I guess, what do you look for in people or in other doctors or people you've worked with?
That's such a good question because it really is sort of limited. I find that, especially because I have this perspective of being in the clinical space in the medical world, and now sleep is also very wellness girly situation. But I am very much sort of at the intersection of both, and I think it's really important.
Yeah.
I'm not online to like push $500 supplements and all this crazy stuff.
Oh, that's something that I really appreciate about your page because the stuff, and please, if you're listening, go check it out. And what's your handle again? I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Is it just Teresa Power?
My social media is just sleepbetterNYC.
sleepbetterNYC. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I was gonna say check it out because the stuff you make on there is cool because it's fun and it's good for social media. It's punchy, it's quick, it's easy to digest, but it's not like nonsense. It's like real stuff that, again, no frills. It's kind of nice, like what I felt like was a nice balance of like you're using the channels that we have and that we frankly have to use. But you're using them the right way, I think.
Thank you. I agree. No, but it is important that I have people who are mixed that way as well. And there's not a lot of them. I mean, if there's thousands of sleep doctors, a lot of them are based in research and their work is all very important, but they're used to talking to other doctors. And maybe they don't even have the best bedside manner.
Doctor?
What? But that's also part of what I do. I'll say, look, I've worked with these doctors. These are the questions you have to ask them.
Right.
Maybe they don't need a doctor. I do often like refer to physicians because I feel like, especially with sleep, again, people just don't know about it. But sometimes they just need to be listened to, and sometimes they want to talk about their moon signs and stuff. So yeah, I think it's important. Sleep is so personal, so I have to find someone who has like that right balance. I do have a really, really great coach now, Sarah. Shout out to Sarah. She was a personal trainer for a long time. She's a Kundalini yoga instructor.
Oh, cool.
And she has she has her master's in sleep, which is really, really hard to find, especially in America. It's more of like a European thing. So she has like that incredible mix of everything.
Europeans.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. That's it's like someone who, when I meet people who have masters and doctorates, I'm like, wow, you really have like such an understanding of this. Like you've just lasered in on this, like to a point that like, yeah, that's really impressive. Shout out Sarah. How do the routines and stuff work? So part of what you guys do is you help people, you coach them with a routine, kind of like a physical trainer or someone, right? It's like you kind of go to the gym. This is like the at-home gym. This is like the gym of your mind, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, I love that.
And so what kind of what you said earlier, obviously every person is different and wind down routines can be very personal. What are some things that are universal, like for people in general?
Universal in general for all people is that wind down routines are incredibly important.
Yes.
It is, there's a lot of sleep hygiene tips, which are just like hacks basically, and ones that everybody should use. It's not potentially going to cure your insomnia, but it can be helpful no matter what person you are. It would be a wind down routine and also using light to your advantage. But, our brains, if you're go all day long, we live in New York City, we have a million things to do. Some people have kids and obligations and they're traveling. Like, you can't go all day long and then jump in bed and then like expect that your brain's just going to shut off and go to sleep.
I've tried it many times.
So many people do. Yeah. And then they get in bed and they're like so annoyed because they can't fall asleep. But I'm like, you were just on your computer 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, you can't just go.
You can't. And it's not the way our
You're
brains
not a
are
laptop.
meant.
You can't just shut it off.
I mean, if you're like really exhausted
Yeah.
and you instantly fall asleep, like on one hand, great for you, but also like then you're exhausted.
That's
so
also not
another
good,
issue.
right? And I've noticed,
Yeah.
I don't know if this happens to a lot of people. Granted, I'm not the best sleeper, but when I'm really exhausted, I'll pass out. But then I'll wake up in like 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, oh, what? Like, you know, because your body is so like, what's going on? Like it's just so. It is funny how you can't. The human body does not like extremes.
It does not.
It likes a routine and it likes predictability and it likes that and it's hard to do that in the greatest city in the world, right? It is.
Your brain is always looking for patterns. And so a lot of times people think routine and they're like, okay, that means like 2 hours of meditation and this and that. And I'm like, honestly, if you just like dim your lights and do your skincare in the same order and like get in bed and like turn off the light around the same time, like that's a routine.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing that, by the time you get into bed and go to reach for your light, your brain is starting to think, oh, okay, after I turn this light off, that's when sleep happens.
That's when I usually
you
go
like
to bed.
trick your brain into thinking like
Pavlov's
okay, it's
dog.
not. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. I just got a NASA red light.
Ooh, red lights love that.
Yeah, it's like a timed, like you turn it on and then it turns off in like 35 minutes. But it said that, I'm curious if this is marketing or if it's real. It said that obviously the red light is, you see it and it's good.
Yeah, go on.
It said that like the red light, the frequency that this light emits, even if you're not looking at it, is helpful if you're just in the room or if you're around it. Is that real? Like, because I also think of like red light saunas and stuff like that. Is that like marketing or is that real? Does it also just kind of being in the presence of it help you?
It's both, definitely. Yeah. I don't know what kind of product it is, so like you can't say if it's legit.
Well, that's why I was like,
the idea of it is real. Our circadian rhythm is regulated by our suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is in our brain, and it is largely affected by light, which enters through our eyes. So light, maybe you're not staring at the sun, but if you're outside, you're getting sunlight, right?
Right.
And that's going into our eyes, hitting this SCN and telling us, okay, it's daylight, it's time to be awake.
Interesting.
So
and
red
even
light,
just on your skin, right? And it's like telling you, okay.
Skin, eyes, red light, opposite of blue light. Red light tells us that it's more like sunsetty.
Right.
It can help with melatonin production. Again, like who knows what kind of product if it actually is legit, but in theory, yes, red light can be helpful for sleep and, again, the opposite of blue or like a bright light.
Interesting. How does, because this is something I'm really bad at, right? So I'm a comic, so I am like doing something. Like there have been times where I'll take a shower and like leave the house to get going and it's like 7:00. You know what I mean? Like and I go, okay, well I'm going now because I'm about to be out from 7 to 1:30, right? And you do something you and it's funny because something like comedy too, like I know a lot of people feel how I do, where sometimes, you get nerves about going on stage or performing. So a lot of times, like, I don't like to eat before I perform. So I'll eat after. And, it's such a high to perform. And it's such a relief when it goes well that you sometimes, like, when I've done, like, big shows, you come off and you're like, I just want to get something to eat now and, like, chill out. And, like, you end up going and, what's open at 2 a.m. is like a diner, and then you end up doing like a grilled cheese at 2 a.m. And I know a relationship exists. What kind of relationship exists when, if you're eating something at 2 a.m, what are you telling your body and your circadian rhythm and your brain? Is that causing havoc and confusing it?
Yeah. Yes, the short answer is yes. I mean, obviously, like I want you to eat.
No, of course, but I guess my point is like, because I know they always like, it's kind of like when I grew up, it was kind of like an old wives' tale. Like it was like, don't eat and go swimming. Like don't go to sleep right after you eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then you realize like it's not just uncomfortable. I think it is kind of messing with you.
Yeah, it is. Like there are only really a few things that tell our bodies and our minds what time it is. What the hell does our brain know what time it is? Like
it doesn't
light
know.
tells us So when you are really tired, if you get sunlight, it can trick your brain into feeling like, oh my gosh, it's
Like when
daytime.
you're jet
Be
lagged
awake.
or something, yeah.
Get lots of light. But another one is meal timing. So if you're typically having dinner at, let's just say 6 p.m. and suddenly now you're having dinner at 8 p.m., your brain is like, hold on, wait, let's move some things around because it's actually only dinner time.
Yeah.
We're going to be awake now. And yeah, it is a little uncomfortable, sure, but it's like our body doesn't stop when we're asleep. It's still digesting. So it's just digesting a little slower, which of course also can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it.
And that's interesting too, because, it's so funny. You think of sleep as resting and doing nothing but I guess your body's busy when you're sleeping.
Yeah, your body is busy.
Yeah, your body is around. Like, this is 24/7 operation here.
Exactly.
Which is funny because, you think of it as just chilling out, but then it's like you throw something in. If you eat something, your body's like, I gotta digest this now. Like, it's like, dude, we had a whole thing planned. Like, we had a meeting scheduled. Now we
had
have
a whole
to
thing
push.
planned.
Yeah, we were gonna do REM sleep. I thought this is, but wow, that's so interesting. And your body's like having a pet, right? You can't talk to it. You can't be like, no, we're going to sleep.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. You be tired, and it's like you tell it, I guess to your point, you talk to your body through your routines and through your I guess how you structure your day or your night and things like that. It's so interesting, man, having a body is an awesome responsibility, huh?
It's so annoying. Like, it never fucking ends.
What obviously the body's important. I want to talk about the mind too. Because how important is mindset for sleeping? Like, how obviously a wind down routine puts you in a good mindset and things like that. We've all been unable to sleep because we have a job interview or we have a this or whatever. What can you... Do you ever coach people and help them with techniques on what to do when they're in the throes of not being able to sleep, right? Because I know for me, what happens to me is I'm someone who will be on my laptop, close it, go lay down. 10 or 15 minutes goes by, I'm obviously not asleep. And then I start to get like, what the fuck? Oh my God. And now it's over. Now you're not asleep. Now it's like, now you need like 3 hours to like go through the whole cycle again. So I guess, one, how important is mindset for sleeping, and how can you, I guess, hack or optimize your mindset when it's not where it should be?
Yeah, I mean, mindset has so much to do with sleep. There is no, unless something has happened like in the last few months, there is no psychiatric condition known to man that does not impact sleep, and vice versa.
Wow.
And obviously that's like a little dramatic. Everybody doesn't have like psychiatric disorders.
No, but say that again. Say that again.
There is no psychiatric condition that does not impact sleep, and vice versa. So if sleep improves or gets worse, it will impact your mental health.
Wow.
There's no way around it. It is so just important. The way we are made.
Yeah.
So again, everybody doesn't have that, but it just shows you like the importance of it. So yeah, of course, it impacts your mental health and your ability to fall asleep. There are so many techniques. I think breath work is shockingly powerful, even the most simple. I personally am not really like a meditator, but I'll do very simple breath work or just nasal breathing in general. But there's also acceptance, which there is a form of therapy that includes acceptance. And acceptance doesn't just mean like, I don't give a fuck. It's more just like, yeah, I am awake. And tomorrow will be probably kind of shitty, but okay, I've had other bad days, or like I haven't slept other nights.
Right.
So
and
getting
in
that mindset too, especially when it happens more and more, and especially if you have like a really big interview, like, yeah, truthfully, you probably won't be at the top of your game, but like probably be fine. And so even just feeling that and sort of giving yourself a little grace helps to calm yourself a little bit. You're sort of like fighting against your own brain. It is always trying to keep you safe. And if you're nervous or excited about something, it's like, oh, we got to stay awake because we're nervous. It thinks
you're getting chased by a lion.
Yeah, it doesn't know.
They're like, all the blood's in the legs. Let's run.
Let's go. And you're like, no, please stop. But breath work really, really helps. It helps to bring your energy out from the external into the internal, especially if you're counting or just focusing on where that breath is in your body. It's pretty hard to like think of your to-do list if you're counting your breath and you're focusing on where the breath is like in your nose and in your lungs. It's hard to do both at the same time. And it also helps activate nitric oxide, which is in your sinuses, and your vagus nerve, which is like a really trendy thing now.
Oh, wait, I have heard of that. Is that the tapping thing? Is that the tapping too?
You can, a lot of things can quote unquote activate your vagus nerve. I mean, your vagus nerve is always like around. You're not
right.
But your vagus nerve helps to take you from your like fight or flight mode into more of your rest and digest mode, which is why breathwork is so helpful.
That is cool. Yeah, it's so funny how some people, and especially like right now, and I'm sure this makes you like sick to your stomach, how much we like, although I do think the tide is turning, but for a while we really glorified the not sleeping and the I'll sleep when I'm dead grinding and all that, right? And it still totally like exists for sure. People still certainly wear it as like a badge of honor. Which is funny because,
it's wild.
It's like if you really cared about, and this is what I tell myself all the time, because, I get in my head all the time about trying to do more stuff and trying to do this, as does everyone. And sometimes I kind of have to, a technique I do is I go, okay, dude, well, if you care about productivity or you care about the product or you care about yourself, then you're gonna put yourself to bed. Like you're not you're not gonna keep yourself up. Like it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yes.
Which of course, listen. This is life. Sometimes you're gonna have a late night, whatever. But I do think it's interesting how people try to. I always think of it as like there's an old like street joke where people go, hey, I'm a good drunk driver. I do it all the time, right? Can your body? I mean, the body obviously is amazing and can adjust to anything, but can your body like adjust to less sleep, or is that like are people lying to themselves?
Sort of.
In terms of, can you adjust? Like, can you be someone who like trains yourself to sleep less but still be optimal
and like have less bad things happen?
Right, and have less health complications.
You can have less, but mostly your body's, like we said before, like your body has a plan. Like it's doing what it's doing. Right. So maybe you're not feeling it as much. Humans are incredibly resilient. I think often to our own detriment.
Yes, so, I agree.
Yeah, maybe like I see this all the time because I specialize in sleep apnea. People who have severe sleep apnea, they often present as less symptomatic. Like they are snoring, their heart is racing, they have blood pressures through the roof, but they don't like feel that bad. Because they have had it for so long.
That they're just, this is how I feel.
And it's not necessarily that they don't feel bad, but like their baseline of normal is so low. So like they might not even realize how bad they feel until they start feeling better.
Which is funny, like, Well, I guess it's like when people, lose they lose like 300 pounds and they go, oh my God, I didn't even know how I was feeling. Like it just, it's funny how, you don't. The human body, it's funny, the brain is a diva, but it's also like, all right, we'll rough it.
Yeah.
We'll
it's like telling yourself you feel fine.
Right.
So no, your body has other plans. Like you sort of, you build resilience, but that doesn't mean that like you're okay.
Right. It just means this is what it is. My dad had sleep apnea for a while.
Oh, wow.
My dad is a big dude, and it's funny because he wasn't even necessarily overweight. He's just like a big guy. So it's like, it was funny because we were like, he doesn't have sleep apnea. Like, you know what I mean? And he was one of those, he always jokes about it, like the fighter pilot mask. Like,
oh, yeah.
But it's funny that once he started doing it, I remember he did it for like a month and he was like, dude, I am like a different he's like, I did not realize how like out of it I was, he's like, I was at work and like, I'm like, remember? I'm like, oh yeah, that was 25. Well, how did I just like, and he's like, we were joking around, but he's like, I feel like I'm like someone who like is like, so I got sober. So you know what I mean? He's like, I was like, he's like, I really was impaired. He's like, I really was impaired. Like, it's crazy. Like, I remember I read something that said that if you drive tired, it's like driving after like drinking 5 beers or something. And it's like, I've been there, man. I've been driving sometimes, and you're like, "Whoa!" Like,
yeah, like you can feel it, right? Your brain
feel
like feels
creeping
weird.
up.
Yeah, we see that a lot, especially with sleep apnea, because it's so common and it goes so untreated for so long. And again, like people just get used to it and they feel like it's normal. They're just like, yeah, I'm kind of tired, like for a few hours in the afternoon, or I take a nap, and then they get treated, and they're like, oh wait, this is what life is supposed to feel like?
You're like, wait, people just feel good all day?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, what's up with like, when you were talking about different states, right? You enter REM sleep, what happens what's going on with the States when people do things like sleepwalk or like talk in their sleep or things like that? Are you really deep in something, or is something going haywire? Like, well, what's happening there?
Yeah, something's going like a little haywire. And it is classified as a sleep disorder.
Right.
Typically, that sounds like very negative. Something bad doesn't have to be
disorder.
happening to you.
Disorder.
Yeah, it's just the word. It's probably a disorder. That doesn't mean like something bad is happening or like your brain's all messed up.
Right.
But it's something around like usually, not for everybody, but usually it's like around the transition from like deep sleep to REM sleep. Because when we get into REM sleep, again, where we're having these dreams, it's thought that it's protective, that our bodies go completely paralyzed. Like you cannot move in REM sleep if you're a normal, healthy adult and you don't have a sleep disorder. And so if you are sleepwalking, typically you're like sort of acting out a dream, which is
like hilarious.
Totally normal.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
oh my God,
like,
so
sleepwalking
funny.
is like so like cartoonish. Like it's like I feel like it's like something that like the Tasmanian devil would do. Like,
Especially
like,
they say like the weirdest shit. It's so funny. I love watching those ones on Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, like when they're not getting hurt or like
when they're not like walking out of like a third story window.
Yeah,
or something.
of course. When they're just like eating or saying ridiculous things to your partner, like it's funny. It's so funny. I do think if you ever have that, you should see a sleep doctor. There are not treatments specifically for sleepwalking or sleep talking, but like you can find triggers. A lot of people find, I think I read a study, it was like people who have that, like 44% of people were finding that it was worse after they eat dairy, for example. So a lot of people who sleep talk or sleepwalk, when they eat dairy, it like gets worse.
No cookies and milk before bed.
So like maybe you still have that, but maybe you do it less.
Right.
Maybe you're not like putting like a chair by the door at night because you didn't eat like your milk. But
yeah, I had a friend who what's the deal with so sleepwalking can happen naturally and it can happen. What's going on when people don't sleepwalk, but then they take a drug like Ambien and then they start to like sleepwalk? Because isn't that a popular side effect for that, right? Because I had a friend. Oh, I mean, I still have a friend. He's still my friend, but
good. I love that.
So we can laugh. He didn't get hurt
He's
sleepwalking, but he would sleep. He would make a meal.
Oh yeah.
And sleep
Yeah.
How are you? I mean, and look, obviously they weren't like Michelin star meals, but I mean, he would pour cereal in a bowl. Like, how does your brain know? Like, that's so insane to me. Like, and I guess
stuff.
if you're Ambien sleepwalking or like a drug-induced sleepwalking, and obviously this can get granular, but I guess overall, like, is that the same process as someone who's naturally sleepwalking, or is it like a little different? I guess
That's such a good question.
Yeah.
It can be a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's so many things in sleep where I'm kind of like, yes, but no, or maybe. It's not because I'm like being elusive. It's just,
right.
It just varies so much.
Yeah.
And of course, like that person, when they're sleepwalking, they're not like all plugged up to lab for us to know what's actually going on in their brain.
Monitor it.
But yeah, Ambien specifically, and some other sleep-inducing medications are pretty notorious for that sort of activity. They are becoming a little less popular. Of course, people still use sleep or medication that sedates them.
Mm-hmm.
A huge reason for all of this is that pills that put you to sleep, they're not putting you into natural sleep.
Right, it's
So
artificial.
That's
how I've always felt about it.
You're sedated. Who knows what
But
stage
you're
you're
not
in?
resting.
You're not resting.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not getting as much deep sleep. A lot of them suppress certain stages, either deep and or REM. And so actually what we find, and there are a lot of studies on this, is that people who take sleeping pills, they don't necessarily feel better the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is like a time and a place for it. Like if you haven't slept for days and you're just like so grief stricken, then
Right.
100%. But like if you are trying to like have more energy or feel better to the next
Or
day,
feel better, yeah.
it's kind of like, well, do you want to take Ambien and be, addicted to it for 10 years and be making ham and cheese at 2 o'clock in the morning? Or like, do we want to figure out
what's going on?
The reason for it?
Yeah, it's I always viewed it as like, I used to take Ambien. Well, I took Zolpidem, which is like Ambien.
Yeah.
Same, but I mean, I still have it. I still could take it, but I stopped taking it because I felt like it was very, like you said, kind of like a vapid, shallow. Like, I always joked, I would say, if you get an organic sleep, it's like a mom and pop shop,
Mm-hmm.
And like Ambien's like corporate.
Ooh,
like it's just like a shallow corporate.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. You're sedated. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
mom and pop is you okay. You know,
Right.
but you know, for me, it didn't work. I didn't really have any luck with Ambien. Like I took it.
Interesting.
You too?
No,
Have
I
you taken
haven't
it?
taken it, no.
Do you? When it was presented to me, it was like, buddy, good fucking luck with this, you know? And I took it, and I remember I took it the first night, and I slept pretty well. And then by like the third or fourth night, it already like wasn't working anymore. Obviously, like drugs and stuff interact with everyone differently, but I'm curious, like, is Ambien kind of just like, did it just kind of become like an industry big name? Like, is it as, I feel like it's not that effective. I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like I either take it didn't really work, or like my friends take it and then they're making ham and cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's sleeping on it? Like, I don't know.
What's happening?
I mean, obviously I'm sure people are, but I guess, do you, I get the vibe that you guys probably don't like it, or it's a last resort.
Yeah, I mean,
which I agree with too.
I'm not a physician, so I don't prescribe
Sure.
in general. I do have, you know, a clinical credential, but I'm not a physician. And truthfully, if most of the time, not all the time, when I see people who are on Ambien, it's been prescribed by a non-sleep boarded physician. So it's not that they don't know, it's just that they don't know that there are lots of other options, and
that's interesting.
the most clinically effective treatment for insomnia is not drugs at all. It's a different form of therapy.
It's lifestyle changes.
Yeah, there are other medications. There are some that are not as wild as Ambien. There are some that don't have as long of a half-life. They maybe have fewer side effects. So typically those will be prescribed by sleep doctors, and Ambien is just sort of like it's not a generic drug, that's a name brand, but it's sort of like a blanket for just like, oh, you know, here's a sedative. Good luck.
Sure. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. It you know, and that's how it was presented to me too. You know, my doctor was like, this isn't like the solution. It's like, this is for, like you said, when you're on day 4 and you're like, dude, I'm gonna freak out. Like
I'm losing it.
Yeah. And it is funny how you that quote you said was amazing. That sleep and the sleep and, like, you know, any like sort of mental health. Why? I mean, obviously, I understand why they're so linked, but why is sleep so? Why does it seem to touch like every facet of our life? Is that something we just don't know yet, and we're still trying to figure out, or why? You know, what do we know about sleep in terms of like how it has evolved? Like, did we used to sleep less, or did we used to sleep longer, or did we used to sleep? I read something once that said that some researchers believed that it was like a hunter-gatherer thing to like wake up every 4 hours or something. Like, is there validity to that? Or I'm just curious, like the evolution of sleep, I guess.
Yeah, there is something called polyphasic sleep, which is when you sleep and wake up a few times throughout the day. That would be sort of like what you were describing, where maybe you go to bed at, I don't know, I'm just going to say 9 o'clock, and you get up at 3 a.m. That's 6 hours, which is not bad, truthfully.
Right.
So if you had some kind of, I don't know, service to do before the Industrial Revolution, or you're a hunter-gatherer, then you could probably function on that, but you would be tired. You'd take a nap later. Maybe you switch on and off.
Right.
There have been studies because, you know, people try to hack and optimize everything, and they're like trying to do that again, trying to be cavemen. We don't find any benefit to it.
Right.
So, you know, it's not recommended. Truthfully, I don't think you can like really do it in this day and age.
No.
But it's not recommended. But that's
also evolution, right? It's like we don't have to do that anymore. You know, where there's a way less chance that a lion is going to attack you tonight.
Right. Everybody's like, oh, we have to do what's natural and like the cavemen. But I'm like you said, like a lion is not chasing me at 4 a.m. So no, it's not necessarily more healthy.
Right.
It was a thing, and I don't think it was a thing for everybody either. So it's not even like good or bad. And how much we sleep varies around the world too. I think generally in America we would sleep a little bit more. Now with the invention of artificial light, it again kind of confuses our circadian rhythm. We don't know what day it is. We don't know what time it is if we're working in an office all day. But it's not a huge amount. There are studies that will tell you like, oh my God, we're not sleeping as much, we're all going to die. But it's like, it depends who you're looking at.
Right.
Like, what are these people doing for a living? Where do they live? So
Right.
we do sleep a little less.
A little less.
Yeah.
But it's okay. When I read it, I was like, yeah, I'm a hunter. Let's go. I would have been great back in the time. I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
I need glasses. I would have been eaten in like an hour. I would have been done.
It's not going to work out for you. No.
Why do you sometimes we kind of talked about this earlier, like you won't be able to sleep because of a job interview, or maybe you're anxious, maybe you got a hot date the next night, maybe you are waiting to hear back from, whatever. I don't know. All that makes sense. Sometimes I wake up and I'll be like, oh, I'm up because I'm hot. The room's hot and I'm sweating. So that's why I woke up or something. Sometimes, are there lesser known reasons? And I was curious because this is a question I had. This was a question that I had like 3 people sent in like a variant of this. So it makes sense when you're awake at night because you're anxious or you're whatever. Why sometimes, are there any like lesser known reasons of why you'd be awake at night? Like the question was, sometimes I'm awake, but I'm not feeling anxious or otherwise wired. What are some reasons that people lie awake that are lesser known? So it's like, what are some things that you guys know? And I guess, what are some maybe lesser known like solutions to them, I guess?
Ooh, this is a good question. I think it could be really layered, though.
Yeah, and it's obviously very personal, of course, but
It's so annoying, right? I'm like, yeah, no, maybe, who knows? Generally speaking, what's the word? If you have trouble falling asleep, it's more of a mental issue. And if you have trouble staying asleep, it's more of a physiological issue. Often. Not all the time. So let's say you fell asleep and now it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you keep waking up. A lot of times it can be because of sleep apnea. In women and thin people too, we think it's like just fat old men, but it can be really anybody.
I'm
so
working
a lot
on
of
my
times,
neck, so maybe
exactly. Wow, yeah, great nap.
Yeah, I'm doing neck ups.
So a lot of times, if you're just like waking up, especially if your like heart is racing or you're gasping for air, you could have sleep apnea.
Interesting.
A lot of people online will tell you that it's because of a drop in your glucose, which can happen for sure. If you have diabetes, then you would know. For the most part, it's kind of like, how would you even know if that's true or not? It depends when you're eating your meals. A lot of times we see hormone fluctuations, especially in women and of a certain age. We're getting a lot of different hormones. So that could be a reason. But working on sleep habits in general and having better sleep hygiene, getting more light during the day, being hydrated, exercising, all that good stuff can actually help you stay asleep longer.
Interesting.
So it kind of depends on the reason, but a lot of the times when you're waking up in the middle of the night, it's more of something happening in your body versus like being anxious. Like you don't feel anxious because maybe you're not anxious.
Right. But it doesn't necessarily, because see, that's my thing. A lot of times I'm often tired enough that I'll pass out and then I'll wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And then sometimes it is funny. It's all about acceptance, because then sometimes I'll wake up and go like, oh, what the fuck, and then that's how you're up all night. And then sometimes I'll get up and I'll be like, all right, I'm going to like go sit in the living room, and I'm like, whatever. And then you just kind of sit there, and then all of a sudden you're like, what? Oh, my alarm's going.
Yeah.
I fell asleep. It's funny how that can happen. Like you really have to like trick your brain.
You do.
But
you have
know
to
you're
trick
tricking
your brain.
it. It's like
Yeah, I guess that is kind of ironic. And also, like you shouldn't know what time it is when you wake up, which is, it sounds impossible to do, but like turn your clock off. Like I have like a digital clock, but I can dim the light or turn it off.
That's what I do. Yeah.
When I go to a hotel, I'm like facing it down. Like, do not look at the clock.
Oh, I stopped doing that. Yeah, because that messes you up, because it's like I'd rather just not know, and then I can just because there's no point, because then I'll sit there and go, well, I have 4 hours and 39 minutes left until I have to and now I have 4 hours 38 minutes left, now I have 4 hours 37 minutes left.
Right, you start the countdown, or you're like, oh well, it's only this time. It's like, okay, either way you're going back to sleep.
Right. So
no matter what, you're going to
this info, and now it's just messing with you.
And what we were saying before is like your brain likes patterns. So often, I see a little bit more in women, but I do think it's more hormonal too. Is like people will be like, I'm always awake at 2 o'clock. I'm always awake at 3 o'clock. And I'm like, well, first of all, why do you know it's 3 o'clock? Like turn your clock, turn it off. Get it out of your room. I don't care what time it is.
Because that's half the battle, I think, is, look, anything... It's like how you can become addicted to drinking water, right? Like anything can become an obsessive compulsion for you to wake up. Because I used to literally wake up and then be like, oh, it's 3 o'clock. Great. It's 3 o'clock again. You know, like,
Yeah.
and then I got to the point where you're saying, you're like, why am I I'm just like stressing myself. Like, I'm already up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, let's make it worse. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Let's make it worse. And then your body starts thinking like, oh, okay, well, I wake up at 3 a.m. and I stay awake.
This is what we do.
Because that's what we did yesterday and that's what we did the day before. So let's just do it. It's time to wake up.
Hey, maybe there's a lion. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
That's so interesting. What, I was curious. I was reading on your site about how, you know, sleep coaching makes sense. And I think everybody can figure out what that is and what that means. And, you know, helping create a wind down routine and things like that. I was fascinated when I saw that you work with businesses. Tell me about how, you know, it's funny because the whole ethos of a business is to squeeze all productivity out of something, right? And I'm not even necessarily in a bad way, but that's the plan, right? Like the goal is to make money. The goal is to, hey, I get it. But it's funny how a business which sole focus is productivity and profit, probably I would say most businesses don't care about like, did you get enough sleep? Did you get enough sleep? Like, are you well rested? Right? Like, so what is that like a funny thing that you always run into? Is that like a funny dichotomy that you always like? They're like, we want our people to like working here and feel good, and we want to support their healthy habits, but also like, let's go.
Yeah, like get it
sign
together.
in early, log off late, right? Which is fine. And, you know, look, that's the balance of everything. But I guess, do businesses more often than not have a lot of confusion about it? Or I guess let's just start off, how do you work with them? Sorry, I threw a ton of things at you. How do you work with them? How does that happen? Yeah.
You know, most of the time when I'm working with a company, it's because they have like a wellness program or it's more about the culture.
Right.
At first, I think you know, again, if we're just being honest, I think they reach out to people because they just want to like improve their culture. They want to seem like they're doing the right thing for their people.
Right.
And like, you know, who knows if they care if it really works or not. But when we are talking about it, I'm like, this isn't just like some woo, I hope you feel good stuff. It's like, there are facts, there's data.
We're coming with data, and we got books.
Do you want your people to actually focus? Do you want them to call out sick? Because people who have insomnia are 2 times more likely to call out sick.
Really?
It's like something like $400 billion are lost annually in the U.S.
That's what I was about to ask you. I said, how much money does it cost to be sleepy?
Billions.
400 billion? Is that what you just said?
And it's not just, I mean, that's like, I think the conglomerate of a whole bunch of things. It's like, you know, it's people calling out sick, sure. It's also people having presenteeism. So they go to work, but they're zoning out. You know, we're already scrolling all day long, right? But
and you're already at your desk going, God, I hate this
You're already having
job.
a hard time, but like, you can't focus or you like, aren't listening in the meeting, and it's kind of like, what's the point of even being there because you're so tired? And then there's also motor vehicle accidents on the way to work, or accidents at work, like the Hoboken train crash. The guy was asleep.
Really? Is that
he
what
drove
happened?
into the station.
Is that what happened? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Dude,
and we can be mad at him, right? People. Like maybe, I don't remember. I think he had sleep apnea, but please don't come in for me if he didn't.
No, and listen, like, that's how it works. This is
real.
I love Tracy Morgan. He's a comedian. I don't know if you remember, but probably like 10 years ago, a Walmart truck driver fell asleep and rear-ended him, and he had to have like 4 spinal surgeries.
Yeah, it's not good.
Like, and he like just started being all right like 2 years ago. I mean, it literally took him like 6 years because this guy just didn't get a good night's sleep. You know what I mean? It's like, like, isn't that crazy how it's like, you know, the goods have got to get there by Thursday. So let's do it.
Yeah, I find that especially with companies, it's like, it's almost the opposite ends of the spectrum. Like the average everyday person who's like sort of interested. Thankfully, typically we get a lot of questions. Again, it's so universal, sleep. But it's like the people who are very like holistic and into wellness, they're interested. And then it's also like the people you never expect, like the CEOs and the high performers, because they're the kind of people that are go, go, go all day long.
Right.
And they feel like, yeah, I'm doing really great, but like I cannot sleep because my mind is always active. There's people like, you know, Trump's bestie. We have Elon Musk, who actually has been on record saying that like he has tried to sleep a lot less. Yeah. Because he's doing so many things and he's like so busy. I saw
that interview and he was like it gets painful at like 5 hours a night or something.
No, I have to sleep at least 6 hours. He's like, if I'm making hundreds of decisions a day and I fuck up on just 5 of them, then that's like thousands, millions of people who are fucked up because of my decision. So he needs to sleep what he thinks 6 hours. So,
and talk about responsibility, man. If you're a CEO or someone, you're responsible for other people's lives.
Yeah.
I mean, you could ruin other people's lives because you stayed up and watched another episode of something.
Right?
I mean, it's like that's crazy. So what type of work do you do with the business? Is it that kind of like, do you have like a seminar and kind of, I guess, talk about habits? Do you talk to the leadership about like how to create more mindfulness or habits like that at work? Or I mean, not sleeping obviously at work, but like, you know what I mean? I guess I'm curious. That was really fascinating to me, the working with business. It kind of made me feel good. I was like, wow, that's really, most business owners are pretty dense. So sometimes it's nice when you not all business owners, but I'm saying like when you meet guys who are like, like the sales office guy, it's like, you don't give a shit about sleeping, like, but I'm curious, like, do you have any, like, did you ever go to a company that was like, you talk to a few employees and you're like, this is the culture here is like unreal, like,
yeah.
And I guess have businesses ever, do you work with them to create a new type of plan for like a culture, I guess?
A little bit.
And I'm sure it's case by case.
It is definitely case by case. We pretty much always will do a seminar and sort of like a take home like PDF. If I'm giving you all this information, it's a lot to absorb.
Yeah.
But we'll do that, and we do really tailor it to the business. So I was working with Oracle, which is like a computer company.
Yeah, of course.
They have a lot of
probably
people.
Crazy hours.
They're staring at the screen all day long. Not everybody, but a lot of people are staring at the screen all day long. So we talked a lot more about tech habits and relaxation and light, and we'll give everybody information and tips. I think information in general, instead of just like lecturing to somebody, but when somebody understands just the basics of sleep and like why it's important, I think it helps them to really want to like take control over it themselves, which is nice. But then often we'll do like a Q&A. Everybody always has the same kind of questions, so it's nice to be like in a setting, because like if one person doesn't ask, someone else will. And then we'll do we'll block time for one-on-one sessions as well. We were working with a group actually in Manhattan recently, and we had one-on-one sessions. It was back-to-back. Thankfully, a lot of people signed up for them, but
hell yeah,
they were experiencing something that I haven't actually seen a lot of, and since then I'm seeing more and more of it, is that they were having anxiety about getting up in the morning. And it's because they were all going back to work, and they, just again, I'm sort of like overgeneralizing, but like they were worried because they were having to get up earlier, they were having to commute, they were worried about their alarms not going off, and then it was the time change, and so many of them were having a lot more anxiety in the morning than at night, which is usually the opposite. And I feel like, in these days, especially as we're like so used to remote work, I feel like that might be happening a little bit more often. And also, we're in these like meetings all day long on Zoom, and
it's funny because sometimes I feel like the remote and the hybrid stuff almost like may not be like tiring us out enough. Like, does that make sense? Like where it's like, now that it's been 5 years since COVID,
weird, right?
What, dude? I do notice like, listen, I'm like everybody else. Nobody wants to get up and shower at 7 a.m. and do the whole thing and and put makeup on. I mean, I feel even worse. I'm a guy. I literally just have to like put on a thing and like put deodorant on, and then I'm good. And they're like, "Wow, good for you. You shaved your neck. Wow." But like, there's the morning anxiety stuff is interesting because it's like, I almost feel like I had a sleep doctor one time tell me when he was like, if you're tired, you don't have to, you can change the intensity, but he's like, it's really not a bad idea to like work out. Like if you haven't slept for 3 days and you're feeling weird, he's like, go on like a light jog or do a little weight training, because that will help kind of your central nervous system and your whole body kind of like, ooh, and it's like, if you have a good workout or something, you lay in bed at night, you're like, oh, this is great. Like I'm just relaxing. How does the central nervous system like play a role there? And does it, so like these people are worried in the morning, they're getting anxiety. Is that their central nervous system? Like, is it ramping up at like 5 a.m. going, oh my God, we're going to get up soon. Like, oh my God. Like, I'm not making this an easy question for you. What?
Go on.
I'm thinking of a question I got here too, because
okay.
it was about it was a caveat from the business one, and people were saying like, if you are on a screen or something, right, late at night, you're working late, and you're at home, for example, your remote work, which everyone's working later now, and because you're at home, I'll still do it. When you're looking at the screen, right, your brain's thinking it's sunlight, or your brain's thinking, is it doing something to your like central nervous system too? And then if you try to lay down, even if you can get a good mindset, is your body still like kind of out of whack?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, and also sometimes with questions like these, I don't know what this person specifically asked, but I think there is so much information online, and we have to remember like, where is it coming from? Like central nervous system and like cortisol is like hashtag
These are all buzzwords,
everywhere.
CNS, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Our cortisol is spiking. Well, like, okay, first of all, cortisol is supposed to vary. It actually spikes for everybody in the morning if you're healthy. So
because it's got to get you up.
it has
and
to.
Now you're getting up.
It's supposed to be spiking in the morning. So like, don't be nervous. Also, how would you know?
Right. It's like, stop. What was your whoop tell you?
Did your whoop tell you?
Enough with your whoop.
So sometimes for people who have anxiety, especially in the morning, potentially their cortisol is spiking earlier. That could be happening. If you know, nervous system regulation is again like trendy, and I'm like smiling, laughing, but like it is a real thing in a way for sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to constantly be in a state of like fight or flight. That's your sympathetic nervous system, and we want to get more
sympathetic. It cares so much.
Exactly.
It cares about you.
Parasympathetic is the one that's resting and digesting.
So the sympathetic one's like, shut up.
So a lot of the times, you know, nowadays if you're like sitting in front of a screen all day, our brains are really stimulated. So you're tired, but you have like a sedentary lifestyle. Your body is not moving that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a little confusing to our brains. We haven't evolved to like be okay with that. But also when you're working out, so you're not just tired, like your body's tired, sure, but we also in our brains produce more adenosine.
Oh,
adenosine is what builds up. As soon as you wake up, you start to increase your adenosine, and that's something else that starts to tell you when you're sleepy. Like you feel sleepy because of adenosine.
Wow.
And exercise increases adenosine. So
right, of course.
Even if you just take a walk, if you are in front of your computer all day long and like you just have not had a break, like walk around your house a little bit, go to the I don't know if you have a mailbox or in New York, but like go to the mailbox, come back, walk up and down the stairs a few times, like get that going because it can increase your adenosine, which will help you sleep.
Interesting. Yeah, the morning anxiety stuff is funny. You know, it is interesting how we all went to work forever.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and all of a sudden we were all like, wait, what?
You're like, what do you mean I
gotta
go?
come in every, what? And it's like, what? You know, it's funny because I don't get morning, I'm not a morning person, right?
Same.
In terms of like, I'm not like a grump, like I'm not like, but I'm just like, it takes me forever. Like I lay in bed and I have to like literally like, I'll like comically like roll myself out of bed and be like, like, and I just take so long to like get in the shower and then I gotta do this and I'm just like slow moving. And then I feel like as the day goes on, I get more with it. And I've always felt like a night owl. I love the nighttime. To me, I feel like I can think clearer at night. I feel like I am more like relaxed in terms of like feeling good, but I have more energy. Like I'm more like excited to do things and like I feel more creative and I feel more like, and I guess my question to you is like, am I romanticizing it? Am I being like an artist? Or, I mean, I believe some people are just night owls. So I guess my first question is, what's the deal with being a night owl? Is that real? Like, and what does that mean? Does that mean you're just going to be unhealthy? Can you balance it out to a degree? Like, how does that work? Because obviously I know you shouldn't stay up all night, but if I'm left to my devices, right? If I'm left to my, literally and figuratively, but like, and the problem is the things that I like to do are excite me. Like I like to write, I like to edit videos, and I like to write stuff, and I like to write or I'll write a joke, or I'll write like a sketch idea or something. Or I'll be up, like I emailed you pretty late when I pitched you to come on the show, right? Like I just feel better at night. I don't know how to explain it. Like, So I guess my question is why? Is that legitimate, or am I being an artist?
Yeah, no, you're crazy.
No, I know I'm crazy. That wasn't the question.
Okay, so no, you can be a night owl. There's something called chronotyping. It is based on human DNA. You are a night owl or a morning bird. There's a few things in between, and that is based on DNA. You can't change it. You are who you are.
Right.
You can slowly adjust. I think important to know, especially because you asked, like, are you just doomed to be unhealthy?
Right.
It kind of depends. So if you are a night owl, you feel great at night. I personally also am a night owl.
Yeah.
I don't have children, so I always have to preface that when I say what I'm about to say next.
Right.
I don't wake up till like 7:30 in the morning.
Right.
Sometimes 8 if I'm, laying around. So I don't go to bed until 11, 12 o'clock.
Right.
Which seems really late. Like, a lot of people are going to be like, you're
Like,
crazy.
you're
What do
the
you mean?
sleep person? You're going to bed at midnight?
Coach?
You're going to bed tomorrow?
Yeah. So I am not in the 5 a.m. club. I think the 5 a.m. club is absolutely ridiculous as a blanket statement for everybody.
You're not doing deadlifts
yeah,
at
you
5
gotta
a.m.?
get up at
What
5
the fuck?
and drink a gallon of water and
You're not calibrating your Apple Watch?
calibrate your Apple Watch and journal, which is, again, fine for some people if you're a morning bird. If you're a night owl, you're not. But the important thing here is sort of like are you one of the people who can sleep on 4 hours or be okay on 4 hours? Is that, like, a night owl doesn't mean you go to bed at 2 a.m. It means you're going to bed somewhere between like 10 and 12. That would be
I don't know what I am.
a night owl. If you're going to bed at 1, 2, like, pretty regularly, it is possible that you have something called advanced phase sleep disorder, which, again, disorder doesn't mean like terrible. It just means that you've just advanced your circadian rhythm.
I think I definitely have something that's weird. Like, about sleep or everything else. I'm weird because it's like, I feel like I can, like, if I stay up past 1 o'clock, I could stay up all night if I want.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I don't think you should do that.
No, I shouldn't. No, and I don't try to, but I meant, like, there have been instances where, like, I get really excited about, like, comedy stuff and any type of, like, creative stuff. So, like, there are times when, like, I will, like, on Fridays or something, if I don't have something going on and I don't have plans or something, like, I have, like, stayed up, like, I'll stay up and write and edit stuff till, like, 5 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning. But I won't even be tired, and I'll go to bed because I'll be like, I need to go to sleep. Like, this is crazy. Like, I have to go to bed. And, like, now I'll preface this by saying I don't do that a lot because when I do, you don't sleep well. Yeah. And I notice that I'll still wake up at, like, 9:30 or 10, and your body's like, what the fuck? But am I, like, is my body just, like, kicking in adrenaline and I'm just not feeling it and I'm hanging out? Or, like, I guess maybe explain what you were about to say before I rudely interrupted you for that delayed onset thing that you were about to talk about.
Yeah, we see this actually a lot with teenagers too, is that, we're always calling them lazy and they don't want to wake up in the morning, but their hormones are going crazy. A lot of teenagers have a delayed phase circadian rhythm. They're not actually meant to get up that early. They're meant to stay up a little later. Like, they're playing video games, and that's probably messing up their sleep cycles a little bit too.
Right,
but,
well, they should be out hunting and gathering. They should be out hunting and gathering. Yeah.
The berries and the shooting of the animals, like, they should be working. They should be staying up a little later and waking up later, but it's just not how society works, and that's really the biggest issue with people. Well, again, if you're a night owl, our bodies are just really not meant to be up that much later.
Right.
So, like, night owl, again, is like 10 to 12. Past that is either you're just not
crazy.
doing well for your body. That's where these routines are going to help you to undo that. Or potentially you have shifted your circadian rhythm a little bit, and maybe that is fine if you can keep up with that as far as, like, social obligations.
Right.
Like, it's fine. But for the most part, it's hard to keep up with. Like, if I actually know a guy who is retired for many years, he and his wife wake up at like 4 a.m. And they go to bed super early, which, obviously sounds wild and crazy to me. It's not doable for a lot of people, but they are retired. They don't have young kids. So, like,
whatever. That's what they like.
It is fine for them.
Whatever.
I think the biggest problem is that, like, if you can't keep up with it, you're just, like, shifting and you're flipping back and forth, and sometimes you wake up at 4 and sometimes it's 8. So that's where the biggest problem comes from, is when you're not consistent.
Yeah, when you're not, because that's the problem, right? Like, I remember when I the best time I ever slept in my life, I went to college and I had a semester where I made it so I had night classes, and my first class started at like 12:30, and I would go to bed. I would sleep from like 3 to like 11. And it was so funny because it's the best I've ever slept, and it was like it was like I would sleep straight through. It was so funny, and I was like, oh my god! So it doesn't really matter when. Well, it matters when, but I guess to your point, if you can make it work, you could make it work. Like
it's not
interesting. Yeah,
the consistency is by far the most important thing in sleep, as far as habits, as far as timing, quality. People are always like, "What's more important, quality or quantity?" And I'm like, "Well, it's consistency," which you didn't ask me, but like,
it's the third one.
Consistency is the most important when it comes to sleep and when it comes to your habits around sleep as well.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom is a night owl. Her mom, my mom's grandmother, and my dad's mother, sorry, my grandmother, my mom's mom, and my dad's mom were both night owls.
Oh, so
and
possible.
it's funny, like my dad on my grandma's side, or my grandma, my father's mother, famously always would like they'd always joke, they'd be like, she's always like puttering around the house at like 3 in the morning, like, what are you doing? But then she'd go back to bed, and then she'd get back up, and and I'm like, what if she lived till she was like 98? Like, all right, well,
she was consistent with her puttering at 3 a.m.
She's consistent with her puttering.
She was gathering.
She was gathering, guys. She's trying to get back to basics. It's funny, there's a hilarious photo that my mom has of me when I was born, and I was born at night. I was born at like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh.
And my mom is like, she's like on all the drugs. She's all like, huh. And I have a full head of hair, and I'm like this.
Wide awake, ready to party.
Yeah, and my mom was laughing. She said the doctor was like, whoa, dude, like, he's like ready to go. Like, what the fuck?
I feel like there's something to it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, right?
I need to ask my woo-woo friends about it. Like, what does it mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Well, that's when it comes into play. That's when I want to get somebody who knows about astrology and things like that, because I believe in stuff like that. I can get a little ethereal, I can be a little bit of a hippie, but I am fascinated by stuff like that. And I'm also, this is kind of leading me to my next question for you. What type of research exists in the world, and do you do any of it at sleepbetterNYC? What's up with the moon and sleep?
What's up with the moon?
What's up with the moon and everything, actually? Yeah. I mean, everything. But I used to be like, yeah, the moon with the tides and everything. Obviously, the moon is nighttime. You go to sleep and stuff. But I believe this just because I've seen it. Like, they're like, I like can't sleep. You look outside, it's a full moon. You're like, ooh. Is there any validity to that? Is there any sort of like research that suggests that the moon has more to do with our sleep than simply day and night, like whatever its phase is and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, if we just think about like the most basic level, humans and circadian rhythm, like we're talking about natural instincts, clocks and light, and the moon is cycles and phases, just like our dreams and just like our whole life.
It's like universal laws that apply. Yeah.
So there is absolutely something like science aside, or I guess it is sort of science too, but like just in understanding like the universality of it is the moon and it's natural and we're natural. So there is something to it. I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but there is actual objective data showing that insomnia worsens around the time of full moons, for sure.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Some people think that it is because the light is just brighter. It's actually really amazing. Just the teeniest amount of light during sleep can actually impact our melatonin production and our sleep.
Oh, I wear a thing.
Oh, you do?
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, you're an expert. So,
and I got a cold one too. If I got any puff.
Oh,
don't play with me, people. Don't fucking play with me.
Do you put it in the fridge, or it's like
freezer? It's freezer. Oh, it's freezer.
You're doing like a full spa day.
I'm doing a full. Come on.
I love that for you.
This is the hot dog hour, folks. Okay, we got 2 cameras. No, but I've always been, for a long time. I guess to your point, like things like astrology were science, right? And that's kind of how they were making sense of it. And they were looking, okay, well, this was here and now it's here. What does that mean? And obviously, if you don't know, then you can get lore and stories and things like that. But I do think that especially when it comes to sleep, it's about like wellness. Like, health is very, like calories in, calories out, or like, drink water, don't drink Mountain Dew, whatever. That like is all research. That makes sense. But I think a lot of stuff, especially sleep, is very like ethereal to me. It feels like it's like I need like someone who practices mysticism to come in and like, you know what I mean? So like, what do you guys ever, and I know we kind of touched on this already, but like when you're making these holistic like approaches, like, or like for a routine for someone, will you entertain like any sort of, I guess, out there kind of beliefs if someone has it, or if someone like, obviously you'll hear someone out, but do you guys have any sort of protocols like that where you're like, hey, let's try this, or, hey, let's try this, or try this? Like, do you ever do like, I used to read about when people would hum, you can hum different like vibrations and frequencies to change, go, all that stuff. Like, do you do things like that? Is that too out there for you guys, or how does that work?
It's interesting, and you sort of said it before too. It's like what used to be science is now sort of like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, it's what like, a weirdo. Okay. But like that's what it used to be, and it worked for a reason. So even something like humming specifically, like there is science to back that up now, like Ayurvedic medicine, and they showed like the vibrations in your nose stimulates what happens during nasal breathing. So yeah,
crazy. It's like, dude, we are just a crazy
like, we
science
figured it
project.
out.
Humans are just like a chemistry lab that you can just play with. Like, and I think that's funny how sometimes I feel like, the only solace I get on nights I can't sleep is that I go, I know I'm not alone. I mean, I don't think like this has got to be one of the worst sleep times era ever for humans, right? Like this is one of our worst sleep eras. Like, and so what, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I kind of lost my train of thought.
Are you tired?
Am I tired today? I'm a little tired today. Like, do you think that part of the reason that so many people have trouble sleeping is because we're maybe getting away from that kind of more mystical side of it? Like, does that, and I don't mean that as an insult to sleep researchers and sleep doctors and people like yourself who are sleep coaches, like not like we don't know or something, but it's like, do you think that it's like maybe we could use a little bit more of like kind of getting back to the basics, putting our hands in the dirt, right?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because now, especially with like the wellness, industry being so much more popular.
Industry is a great,
it's like we're all preaching the basics, but I think it's really more about like access and education to it all. So like, the kids these days, they say like, go touch some grass. And sure, it's just a phrase, but yeah, if you are if you are in nature, and again, there is actually science to back it up. Like if you are in nature, if there, it's called like forest bathing, where you spend the night.
Forest bathing, that's funny.
In the forest, it can actually help you sleep better, and there is something to it. Setting your circadian rhythm and breathing in oxygen that isn't filled with who knows what's in this city. So it is just the basics.
This
getting
city?
light. What?
It's great.
Sunlight. Like I'm not just always talking about sunlight because it's like free. It's like, no, it actually sets your circadian rhythm. It tricks your brain. It helps your melatonin. It helps your cortisol. It helps all these other hormones, serotonin. So yeah, the basics, they sound so simple and like silly, but it actually, it helps.
Well, it's like anything, right? It's like stuff's cliche for a reason, right? It works. Like it's like, get up and open the blinds. It works.
Seriously.
Like it's just what you do in the morning, and then it kind of, I know what you mean. It kind of jumpstarts your. It's like it's like nature's coffee.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, we're ready. Let's go.
Exactly. I think in a day when everybody's like trekking and taking all these pills, and it's not necessarily even wrong. It's just like it becomes an obsession, and there's sort of like, where's the line? And suddenly you're doing 500 million things, and then we realize like, wait, sleep is something that we all do. Every single human sleeps. You cannot not sleep.
You have to. Everyone sleeps. Everything sleeps. Every animal sleeps. The pigeons sleep. Everyone sleeps.
So you can add more things, and like maybe you have a few things. Maybe you have a routine. Maybe you have a night mask, like a cooling one.
But like, not everybody can be that cool, but try your best.
But you can sleep, so sometimes it's more about like simplifying and doing less to get better sleep.
And it's funny you say that, because God, does anything capture like our culture right now, which this mindset has produced a lot of good too, but man, are we just obsessed with whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Whatever your job or your this or your, I mean, listen, America's awesome, and I mean, man, we got more cash than anybody, but we are tired.
We're tired.
And it's like, what is that balance of like, it's hard to, it's ironic that we're obsessed with something that you have to let happen.
It is.
Right?
It's like almost funny. We're like, wait, there's like sleep medicine is like a practice, and then you're like, LOL. But then you're like, wait, I don't sleep well, and I need this and this and this and this to sleep. And you're like, oh, what? Why?
Yeah, and it's just interesting, and it's like, it's funny that we've
overcomplicated
it, and it's like that intensity that fuels so many amazing things is actually a detriment here, because it's like, you have to ease into sleep. Like, sometimes I laugh at myself where I'm like, there are nights where I'm laying in bed and I'm almost trying to like will myself to sleep. You know what I mean? Like I'll be laying there, I'll do some box breathing, and I'll be like, everything's okay. You're going to sleep. Sleeping's good. You feel relaxed.
Your brain's like, haha.
And your brain's like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
It's like embarrassing. But it is funny. And ironically enough, I guess one of the good things about liking comedy and stuff is that a lot of times I'll make myself laugh and then I'll end up relaxing, because I'll go like, dude, you're trying to like will yourself to sleep. Like, what are you doing? Like that this is, I don't know what's going to work, but I know it's not this.
Yeah. If you want to go to sleep, stop trying.
Right.
Another thing that sounds like so simple and almost offensive to say, but like, stop trying. You will sleep. Yeah.
Go and do something. Go and read something. Go and what's funny? Sometimes what I'll do is I will leave out like a, I do like freelance PR work and stuff. And so sometimes I'll do like, I'll leave out, I'll be like, all right, if I wake up at 3 a.m., let me, how about I brainstorm new pitch angles for a meat thermometer? Okay, how about I do that? Which was a real client that I had to, and they're like, how do we sell more? I'm like, are you guys like, what the fuck? But it's like, and it's so funny, you wake up like that, and then you go sit at your desk and you go, all right, meat thermometer pitch angles, and then all of a sudden you're,
Yeah, right.
It's funny how that works. You gotta you gotta let it happen, and it's like, that's the part that I think, that's the part that makes me feel all like ethereal and hippie about it, because I'm just like, what is happening to, like, so many things make sense. You get hot, you sweat, you're hungry, you eat, you're thirsty, you drink, but then it's like, you have a sensation that's tired. It's not really a feeling. It's like a phenomena or a sensation, because you can't really describe it. Like I sometimes will tell people, I'm like, if you go days without sleeping, it feels like your brain is sloshing around in water. Yeah. That's what it feels like to me. I feel like I'm turning and I'm like, wait, what?
Everything is slow.
What? And it's like, this sensation just like captures you, and then you're like, I guess I'll just like it's just one of those instinctual things. We know what to do for whatever reason, and we like muddy it up somewhere along the way, and then we don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, you can go weeks. I don't recommend it, but you can go weeks without food. You can only go, I mean, at 24 hours, you start having cognitive impairment without sleep. I think the longest anybody has ever stayed awake is 11 days, and they suffered in ways that they had never recovered from. They died early. Other than that, most people, you cannot survive after like 3 or 4 days.
Did you ever see, I didn't watch it, but I remember like when it was happening, I don't even remember who it is. I feel bad. I'm not going to... did like major health damage. I don't even remember his name. But some like streamer kid on the internet, like a kid, like he was like 15 or 16, did some sort of like, I'm staying up challenge and we're going to live stream the whole thing and blah, blah, blah. And he put himself in like a dark room and just stayed awake. And like by the like third day, he was like going insane. Like he was like, people were like reaching out to like his friends and like parents and realizing like, to stop this. Like, and he started to get crazy, and he like broke his computer monitor and like all this. And then he ended up, I don't know how many, I gotta look it up so I don't totally mess it up. But I know that he stayed up for X amount of days, and he had like brain damage. And they were like, we're gonna like try to, like, you might have like messed up your brain. Like you can't do that. Like,
you cannot. Again, like, we think sleep is just for rest, but your brain is busy. It's doing all sorts of things. It's a complex physiological cascade of events happening when you sleep. And so if you're just ignoring that and you're not sleeping for 2 days even, like you start to have mental health issues and your hormones start to be unbalanced, which is, if anybody's listening and they're on Instagram, hormone imbalance, very
Hormone
trendy.
imbalance, CNS.
It happens after one full day of staying awake or one
Really?
bad night of sleep, hormone imbalance. So like if you want to know why you're not feeling so great, why you're moody, why you cannot tolerate social interaction, it's because your hormones are all out of whack because of your sleep. And so if you're trying to stay up 2 days, like, well, first of all, just don't. But like, what are you,
Why?
if you're 15, maybe you don't know any better, but there is no reason for an adult to try to do that. Now, on the other hand, I also like say that to not like scare people. Like you cannot really survive after like several days of being awake. But that being said, remember that you will sleep. Like even on your worst nights, you've probably slept like at least 2 or 3 hours. You cannot not sleep. So that's really important to tell yourself too, especially if you have insomnia, that like you can sleep even if it's not great. You will sleep a little bit.
Right. All right, I found it. Are you ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
Streamer stayed awake to break world record. Stayed awake for 12 days.
Oh, I hate this already.
He broke the fucking record. Norm, a live streamer, stayed awake for 12 days straight to break a record that stopped being tracked in the late 90s after people who tried to report decade-long insomnia and brain fog. An Australian live streamer was banned from multiple platforms for trying to stay awake 12. Well, so they had to ban him to be like, stop doing this. Like, it's over. Like, go to sleep. Norm, 19. God, if this is not a great example of prefrontal cortex at 25.
Yes.
Norm, 19, attempted to break the record for the longest time without sleeping, set in 1986 by Robert McDonald, who remained awake for 18 days.
Oh, 18.
What the fuck?
No way.
He tried for 12 days rather than 18 because 12 is the record. Oh, without the use of stimulants.
Oh, okay. So the other guy
Damn,
was
so
awake
he
for
was
11
just
with
tweaking on 18 days going like, wait, 18 days is like insane.
I don't even, I mean, what?
He had to have died, dude. That's not...
I mean, he's not well.
All right.
If he's alive, he's not well.
Guinness World Records stopped monitoring it due to the inherent dangers associated with sleep deprivation.
They're like, we can't do
wow,
this
so
because
he
you're
did
gonna
all this,
die.
reached out to Guinness, and they were like, dude, no, we're not putting you in it. Scientific studies suggest even small amounts of missed sleep can negatively impact our mental and physical health. Despite that... Oh. Let me change that. Sorry, folks.
Despite that, your camera is dead.
I need to change the thing.
Yeah, is this guy alive? I don't think he's alive anymore. Maybe
Wow,
he is.
dude. Well, here, keep talking
That's
about
a
it, because we can
fuck
at least... Here.
Well, maybe I'll
But
get
yeah,
some
so
more.
anyway, 12 days, dude. That's insane.
Also, like, where were his parents? Not to be a bitch, but like, does he
Yeah,
have
right?
parents?
What the fuck?
Were they making money from him? Like,
Yeah, right. Where they're like, "Come on, we're gonna get a new fridge."
that's probably what it was.
This. We can wrap up soon. We almost did 2 hours.
Oh my god, no way!
It's like
See, when you don't have light, you don't know what time it is.
It's 9:05.
Oh my gosh, here, let me send a quick message too.
So this camera's getting pretty hot, so we can wrap this up soon.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. All right. I will now clap. Folks, sorry. The good folks at Sony created a beautiful product that doesn't want to blow up. So it turned off and asked me to change the battery. Thank you. Thank you, Sony. Shout out Sony. Anyway, this poor kid... I may take it back. He got 1.21 milli followers off it. You know
Did he
what,
make that
kids?
much money?
Yeah, no, he didn't get any money from it. No, because none of them are letting him monetize it because they're like, dude, no. I mean, at that point, you should be like, at least give him some money. Give him
Right, like for
something.
his hospital
Give him for
bills.
the hospital bills. Do for the surgery. I had my friends doing 12-hour shifts to keep me going.
Oh no, your face looks horrified.
Well, this is just hilarious that he was tweeting during it. And like, look, he's like not able to spell. And like, it's like he's drunk.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
this was a tweet on day 10.
10.
And he's going... I'll put it up on the screen, but it says, "This is misinformation. I regainic my ability to read, but it's torrid."
No, after I think about 18 hours, you start. It's like you have a 0.08. So I mean, truthfully, I don't even know what like 10 days.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't know.
Oh my God, dude, this is crazy. He was standing and it said that he's been, okay, so once he was awake for 207 hours in an attempt to break the world records, he started phasing in and out of consciousness and couldn't read. And he had his friend, terrible friend too, by the way. He had a friend who would stand there and just like tap him to like wake him back up. Like he was standing up and was just... Dude, this is like a nightmare for you. It's like a case study.
I hate every second of this.
And then someone swatted him and called an ambulance to his house. That's a good friend. That's the best friend he has. Wow, dude, that's crazy. What? Man, that sleep after, though, he must have went down, dude. Yeah. Talk about REM sleep. Those dreams must have been insane. He's probably having dreams about, like, just the most basic, like, just getting food.
Yeah, he's not well.
That's crazy. I have a question I want to ask you because you said something interesting before about you will sleep, you will go to sleep, whatever. I've taken a sleep study before at NYU Langone. Mm-hmm. Something really fascinating that happened to me was I took the sleep study. I swear to you, I swear on my life, on whatever, I did not go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep. I was up the whole night. I got there at 11. And then I was there till it went from like 11:30 to 7:30 or something. The whole thing. I'll put a clip up. I put an image up. I have a picture of myself with the whole. I took a selfie with all of the things
As
on
you
and
should.
everything. Yeah, I had to. I was tossing and turning, and I was like, oh, and I was being actually like really, it was embarrassing. I was being dramatic. Like total. Yeah, I was being like So, I did not sleep. Like 7:30 came around. I was like, well, this was a complete fucking waste. Like I never slept, blah, 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 whatever. And then the sleep doctor told me, he was like, no, you did sleep for like 5 hours. Like you did actually fall asleep. What happened? Why is that common? Is that more common than you think? Like, I'm telling you, I swore that I didn't sleep. Like I went to him and I literally said, sorry, man. I don't fucking, and he was like, what? And I was like, I didn't sleep at all. And he was like, no, you fell asleep. I was like, I did. And he was like, yeah. He's like, you could have gone longer. It wasn't. But he's like, yeah, no, you were asleep. He's like, you were like dreaming. And I was like, what? So what is the deal with that? Is that because I'm sleep deprived, or is that maybe just how mine does it? I don't, because that's happened to me a lot where I'll say like, I used to joke with my mom a lot. My mom would go, did you sleep well? And I would go, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What's the like idea behind that, I guess?
I mean, there's definitely something called sleep misperception. Humans are notoriously just bad at knowing if we are asleep or not, and a lot of it has to do with the anxiety around it.
Sure.
Which leads to sort of a hyperarousal, they would say. So maybe you were in light sleep for more than you would have liked, and you were easier to wake up. And so when you are in deeper sleep or REM sleep, you forget, like you have no idea of what time it is again. So maybe you think you just blinked or rolled over, but you actually did sleep for a little while, which brings us back to like your body will sleep. Even this guy who stayed up for an absurd amount of time, like his body was putting him to sleep. You can't fight it.
It was literally nodding out while standing.
Putting you to sleep. So especially people who have insomnia or they're like really anxious and really sleepless, it is helpful to remind them that even when they don't feel like they're sleeping, they are. So they feel like maybe they're not going so crazy. You can stay up all night, but it is really almost impossible. People are just notoriously bad at knowing it. It has to do with a lot of different things. But sometimes when people do feel like they're just really not ever sleeping through the night, we have them do a sleep diary, which is sort of like what you were saying before, is just getting back to basics.
Right.
Like, do not look at your Oura Ring, turn off your Apple Watch. I don't want to hear about your Whoop band. Like, get up and write in a notebook, what time did you go to sleep? What time did you wake up? How many times did you think you wake up? Because after a few days, you'll start to see like, oh, I said I was going to bed at 10 p.m., but I actually, by the time I showered and picked up my clothes and turned off the TV, it was like 11:30. And maybe, I think I'm getting up 6 times to go to the bathroom, but actually I think I only went to the bathroom twice last night, so it's not that bad.
Right. And it's funny, and you probably deal with this a lot too as a doctor, because I'm bad at this. I got like kicking ADD, so I have like terrible like time. Like I have that time blindness thing where like, I'm telling you, dude, I will literally, I'm getting better at it. I've gotten better at it like as I've gotten older and stuff, but like I literally will still sometimes do this, and I used to do it all the time, where like I was the guy who'd be like, oh, I have time to like shower if something's like, and something's 30 minutes away,
like 5
and
seconds
I'm
away.
like already 10 minutes late, and I'm like, I can shower and get there, and like,
Yeah.
I'll be like 10 minutes late. It's like, and I genuinely believe that I'll make, like, you know what I mean? And so I always wondered if that was the same kind of thought process at work of me going like, oh, I didn't sleep at all. You know, I didn't sleep. And it's like, no, you did. Like, you don't know everything. Well, humans are terrible eyewitnesses, right? Like when they're
Okay, that's
like,
true.
it was a tall white guy in a red shirt, and they're like, it was a woman in a wheelchair. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like, you know, like they never know, like what the thing, like what happened.
And it goes back to mindset too. Like your brain doesn't know what's real and what's not. It just knows what you tell it and what it learns. So if you keep telling it, I sleep like shit, I don't sleep, I sleep horrible, I feel bad every day, and then you go to sleep study and you find out like, oh no, you actually did sleep. Sometimes that can be like a burden lifted off. You're like,
that helped me a lot.
Wait a minute.
That helped me a lot.
But otherwise, you're just like, you're in this cycle. And truthfully, maybe you don't sleep well. But like, the more you tell yourself that, the more your brain is like, all right, I guess we don't sleep well. We sleep like shit. Like, this is just my life.
So what do we say, folks? It's like everything else. Life is your mindset. You gotta fucking, because listen, trust me, dude, I do stand-up comedy. So a lot of my beliefs are rooted in like, you know, there have been plenty of times where I've been waiting to go on stage and I'm getting anxious and what if they don't like me? And like, is that even funny? And is this even funny? And then you have a terrible set, you know, and vice versa. There are times when you go up there and you go, nah, I'm ready. Let's fucking do this, you know? And then you're ready to go. And it's like, life is really up to you, you know? Your sleeping, your health, everything. You do have the awesome responsibility to take control of it, but, you know.
Amen. You got to manifest it.
You got to manifest
that's what the
it.
kids say, right?
That's what the kids say, right? And is that something that you guys will work on too with your routines and stuff? And so this kind of holistic approach, can you give me real briefly just like an outline, I guess, of what a sample kind of course could look like, or like for people listening, what could you do for them? You know, what kind of like an example kind of course or approach, I guess, would you take? If someone, let's say someone keeps waking up in the middle of the night.
So at first, it's really just about like sharing everything. We're doing like discovery or trying to find out what's happening, what's not happening, sort of screening for potential sleep disorders.
Sure.
You know, we can work on you all day long and improve your sleep. But if you, for example, have sleep apnea, you know, waking up, 10 minutes earlier or later and getting sunlight in the morning is going to cure your sleep apnea.
Right.
So that is something I think that a lot of times, especially on social media, when you're getting all these hacks, they're just like leaving that part out.
Right.
Like you could potentially have a diagnosable, treatable condition. So we're sort of screening for that in the first session or two. Honestly, I find that after like the second session, usually just talking about things and just sharing and sort of putting it in perspective with somebody else can, again, like kind of just be a burden lifted, trying to figure out like what's normal and what's not.
Sure.
And when you think that something's like really worrisome because you saw it in the internet and then a professional is like, no, that's fine. So the first two is kind of just figuring out what's real. Then we'll start with routines and the basic stuff before we ever talk about products and supplements, which again can help some people, but we want to stick to the basics and behavioral change first.
Yeah, of course.
If you want to do long-term sleep success, you can't just pop a handful of melatonin and sleep good for one night because like what are you covering up? So a lot more about your lifestyle changes, potential medical disorders, mindset, even some mantras can help, like you were saying before, just like, it's okay, we'll fall asleep, I'll be fine. But just having something that's consistent and sort of hand-holding you through it can
of course.
just be really helpful.
Nice.
Like, again, like you were saying with, like if you're working out, you go to the gym, you get a trainer, like, yeah, I can go on YouTube and like find a workout.
Right.
But like, am I going to do it? Am I going to be consistent? What if I have a question? What if I'm doing it wrong?
And are you going to have that same intensity? You know, you have a coach, you have someone who's going to go, hey, come on. Right? And it's like working out where you need, we're only humans. You need someone to go, hey, no fries, just like you need someone like yourself to kind of say, hey, what did we say about screens?
What did we say
Come
about
on.
that?
Hey, CNS, hashtag CNS.
Exactly. Cut it out.
Oh, shit. Well, this was awesome. I mean, listen, we did 2 hours.
Yeah, are we okay?
Are we okay?
We gotta start my bedtime routine
literally.
like now.
Listen, Teresa, this was awesome. I really appreciate your time. I hope you had fun. Please tell us where they can find you. Give us your socials. Give us, sleepbetter.NYC. Give us all of that. Where can they find you? Listeners who are individuals, how can they reach out to you and get your services? How can businesses reach out? Tell us.
Perfect. So everything is on my website, sleepbetter.NYC. So it's not sleepbetterNYC.com, just sleepbetter.NYC. I'm on all social media, unfortunately. But if I'm being honest, a lot of it is recycled. Everything first comes from Instagram. So find me on Instagram at sleepbetterNYC.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Teresa, thank you so much. Guys, you know where to find me. www.alexlibutti.com. Stand-up dates, stand-up tickets, stand-up clips, sketches, hot dog hour episodes. Huh? Come on. Buy a ticket. Help me change my life. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're asleep already. I hope this already put you to sleep. And I hope you're listening to our soothing voices carry you off into sleep. Huh? Are you awake now? Okay, sorry. Guys, thank you so much. Good night.
Yay.
Woo!
That was great. That was so fun. I can't believe we talked for 2 hours.
I can't believe we just talked for 2 hours. That's awesome.
Ew, gross.